Hello everyone, today we're going through my CPXV State Round incident report on December 9th, 2022. So here I have my cover page here of we were Team Script Kitties. Our team number was 150495, my name, and then obviously the date as you see here below. But anyways, we're going to go through. First here I have my references, so kind of what I was looking at. So I have my README file of the competition. It's just pretty much telling me exactly what to do, certain rules, and kind of all that. And then I have my scoring report of what I ended up scoring and things were on it. But anyways, let's begin. So first off, we have forensics here. There was 2 forensic questions. I ended up getting only one of the forensic questions. But anyways, the first forensic that I actually got was it asked for the registry key and how to change the RDP port for if the company were to ever want to change the RDP port. I had to go in and find it and tell the exact file path. As you see here below, I linked kind of where I found this answer at, like what I needed to do. And then I linked the exact answer down below. Next, we have user management. So here I have pretty much, it just explains that user management is kind of like, it's like almost like I don't say the bare minimum, but it's pretty baseline minimum thing. It's almost like it's a pretty basic thing to defend or secure. You should always have like passwords up to date and all that. But some things that I did change on your system was that you had the admin account Sharrington. His password was very weak. I ended up finding, and I changed it to a more secure password, and I changed it to where all users, including Sharrington, had to change the password at next login. But next, you had the user account for Argyle. He had no password whatsoever, which is very unsecure, and I quickly added a password for that user account, and then again, made it so where he had to change his password at next login. Next, we have another user account at Mayfield. His account was an admin, which it should not have been. We do not want people with certain privileges who shouldn't have them. So we ended up changing his account to just a regular user account. And I found another user account on the system or on the network. His username was 2, but he should not have been there. And I promptly deleted him and all the files associated with him. And then, as I see here, I changed all password accounts to expired and changed the next login. Moving on, I ended up renaming the guest account and admin account to Shrek and Donkey. So this is very much secure because it doesn't just blatantly give attackers like an idea where they need to go, like admin and guest account. I also navigated to the computer management in the groups area, and I checked all the groups for user accounts, and I made sure that all users were in the correct group. Made sure they didn't have escalated privileges or any other privilege that they shouldn't have. I also disabled users to connect remotely, so they couldn't just, connect remotely to things. Pretty much self-explanatory there. But I also disabled desktop sharing, so they can't just share stuff to anybody around, which is a huge security risk that you need to turn off. So that's user management here. Next here we have is policy management. Policy management is also another very important kind of area where you need to make sure things are set right, set properly, and all that. But some things that I did for password was password policy. So I can set things in the password policy, like I made sure that you have to have 10 passwords remembered, like it remembers 10 passwords before you can use the same password again. So that's another huge security risk that people do. I also added a max password age of 90 days. So every 90 days, a password must change their password. And then going on, I made it so that passwords cannot be changed within 10 days of being set. I added a minimum password length of 10 characters. I enabled password complexity requirement. So pretty much it's saying that if you set a password, it has to be set to this password complexity requirement that like if you set anything below this certain requirement, it's like a number system almost. But anyways, like if you reach below it, it will not work. You have to breach this certain level of complexity to your password to prevent brute force attacks. And then here I have added a lockout threshold. Pretty much what it's saying is that if you try to log into this account 5 times, you'll be locked out from that account for 30 minutes. So that's another thing I added. So next year I have audit policies. There's not a lot to talk about all policies, but pretty much what it is that you enable success and failure attempts for logging in. So it adds a log file on your file system, and it will record all logging attempts, success and failure, or whatever you turn it on for. Like who's trying to log into this account, who's trying to log into this account, and then you can see who's successfully logged in, who failed to log in, and that's how you can see incoming attacks to your network. So next you have firewall. I didn't do a whole lot with the firewall, but I did notice that your firewall was turned off, and I just quickly clicked one button, turned that off, and then I left it to the default configurations. So it pretty much allows all outbound connections and blocks all incoming connections to your network. So next we have a big long list here of services. So services is just an application on Windows 10 machines, and I believe Windows Server machines. But anyways, it's just an application that shows all possible services like Windows updating service and all these like maybe probably 200 plus services. But a lot of these can be a lot of security risks. So I went through a checklist of mine and made sure all these were disabled here. I'm not going to go through every single one as there's quite a bit of them, but I went through the Windows service application and made sure these were all disabled and disabled them if they were enabled or currently running. So next we have software application management. So pretty much here you had a company policy of making sure that you have a strict like requirement of what can be on the desktop for software application, making sure things are up to date and all that. But what I did to your machine, I saw that you had quite a few actually unauthorized software. You had TeamViewer. It's pretty much just a text and FaceTime service for your employees, which I promptly uninstalled as it does violate your code. Next, we have CC Cleaner here, which is actually malware. It creates adware on your system. Pretty much, adware is what it puts ads in spots where they generally shouldn't be on your operating system. So I promptly deleted that too, along with all the files, so it is gone. I also uninstalled Burp Suite, which is a hacking utensil which scans port vulnerabilities on your network. So again, uninstalled that, got rid of that. And then last, Chromium. Chromium isn't actually a malware, but it's actually like an official app. It's used to bypass your proxy server. So that's like a big code violation or policy violation of what you guys set. So promptly uninstalled that too. Next, you also had a requirement of keeping your required software applications up to date, which I promptly did. We had a GIMP update version we needed. We updated it from 2.10.32. From 2.10.24, we updated Inkscape to 1.2.2 from 1.2.0. We updated Mozilla Thunderbird from 1.02.5.1. And then we finally updated Tile from 1.9.2 to 1.8.0. Next, we also have software installation that I did. This wasn't generally required by you guys in the README file, but I downloaded these Patch My PC to help update this. It was like just a quick updater that helped me update these software applications that I previously did, and I installed Chrome on the system just for easier navigation through my resources to help protect your network. Next, we have antivirus and malware. So what I also did was install Malwarebytes on your system. So pretty much Malwarebytes does is it's a scanner for any malware, backdoors, anything that it could deem suspicious on your network. So I used this software application and it scanned it. It found some suspicious malware which I removed from your system. And then lastly here, I have some other stuff, just some other security policy stuff. I made sure that people are required every time they log in to a system, they have to press Control-Alt-Delete to prevent any keyloggers, any malware that could be trying to gain password information, username information. Next, I turned on a screensaver, and I made it sure that screensaver will be enabled every 1800 seconds you're inactive. So that's another thing. Next couple of things, I made sure that every time you log in, it does not show the last username who logged in to prevent, intruders seeing the username or gaining a username from a person on your system. And then here below, I also don't display last logged in, so they can't see who logged in last when they try to sign into this computer again. Lastly, for these couple of things, I restricted the CD-ROM access to locally logged on users. I also enabled plug and play, which is like unplugging a flash drive and plugging in a new one. You can quickly do that without any problems. Then lastly, I turned on the simple TCP/IP services. So that is all for my state round report. Things that I did, things that I changed to your network.